physical pain being an indicator of resistance.
Yeah, isn't that nice to know? But isn't it helpful to realize that when the resistance is now manifested in something that is even more noticeable, don't you want to say, hey, whatever it takes, thanks for the information, rather than worrying about what's going on? Just appreciate the information that the physical discomfort is providing, and that way you get right back in your lane more quickly and easily. And if you would accept physical pain as nothing more than the same information that emotional discomfort was providing for you, then it can be as quick to move through that as it is to move through the emotional. And there are a lot of vibrations that happen before you receive a thought, before you translate the vibration into something as tangible as a thought, or before you manifest the thought. Let's call the thought a manifestation. Vibration, 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 manifestation of the thought. If your propensity for thinking the thought that caused the rumble strip is still within you, and it likely is, you're going to come across another thought and feel the rumble strip. Only this time you're more likely to feel the rumble strip at an earlier stage. And so when you say it's only a thought away, we agree, it really is only a thought away. But we want to give you all the benefit of the doubt by saying it's a thought that leads to 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 a thought. And then we get all complicated and worried about the thoughts that we're thinking. You say cancel, cancel, try to suck the thought back before law of attraction gets hold of it and gives you something. You see what we're getting at? Just for a little while, try it. Rather than working at controlling your thoughts or controlling your reactions to things, just focus on the best feeling vibrations that you can find. Focus on feeling as good as you can feel. Let it be about feeling rather than about thinking. And when you make it more about feeling than about thinking, you make it more about vibration than about thought. And when you make it more about vibration than about thought, then what happens is you allow your vibration to get higher and higher, and as it rises, then you have access to different thoughts. Does that make sense to you? You offer a lot of thought and words and behavior without consideration of what they are doing to your point of attraction, because you often do not make the association between what you're thinking and how you're feeling. It isn't until you allow quite a bit of momentum to get going that your vibration of resistance gets strong enough that you have a really strong emotional response to it. We're talking about most people most of the time. So when something happens to your physical body and you feel a tension somewhere, don't you usually try to identify what you've been doing? Esther will say, well, I was hanging clothes on a very high rack and I held myself in a very odd position for a very long time. And we said, and how were you feeling when you did it? Because Esther wants to talk about the very small ladder she was on and the very high thing she was reaching for. She doesn't want to talk about the time shortage consciousness that she had going on when she was doing it. What's the vibration behind it? In other words, because the action, whatever vibration you've got going on, if you've got a vibration going on that is not in sync with your inner being, you'll make all the wrong decisions. Just like changing lanes badly and running right into someone. So if you make it about vibration rather than about action, or you make it about vibration rather than words, or you make it about vibration rather than thought, if you make it about vibration, then you're able to catch it at the earlier, more subtle stages, because there is emotional response to unspoken vibration. And if you can enjoy the unspoken vibration and not try to make it something different than it is, then all the way out it will go easier for you. So take these two polar opposites in politics, just for an example, and rather than watching the behavior, which could drive you crazy, or listening to the words that could cause you to want to go screaming into the woods, instead just step back from the specifics of all of that and try to get a feeling about it. let's say it's two people speaking entirely different things, but now they're not speaking, you cannot hear them. Now they're not behaving, you're not watching their action. Now you are just sensing that they are two different people. You're taking it back to a more general place, and you're acknowledging that they each are extensions of source energy, and they each have come into this environment in order to decide what they want, and they each have been sifting through the data, and they are certainly reacting to the data. In most cases, they are not in alignment. That's why they make you want to go screaming into the woods, because there's no harmony between them and their own inner being, and so there's no harmony between them and their inner being, or you and your inner being. But as you step back from the action or from the words, and you just focus upon the vibration, and you acknowledge that they're individuals who have come from source energy, don't you begin to feel your tension release just a little bit in your generality? As you acknowledge that they too have the right to sift through the data, don't you find your tension releasing just a little bit? As you acknowledge that they create their reality, not yours, that they create their reality, don't you feel your tension releasing just a little bit? As you acknowledge that the law of attraction is responding to them just like the law of attraction is responding to you, don't you feel the tension releasing just a little bit? As you step away from the specifics of what they might be saying or the behavior that they might be offering, and you acknowledge the vibrational basis of them, which is the same vibrational basis of you, doesn't it give you a sense of letting go? Doesn't it give you more of a sense of letting them be whatever they be? And doesn't it free you then to move forward in the thoughts that feel best to you? In other words, as long as you are railing against anything that's going on, you are not in concert with your own inner being. You cannot find the release of your own attunement with who you are as long as you are pushing against the opinion of any other.
I don't get how tuning into their vibration when they're out of alignment soothes me, though. I'm not.
Because you're not tuning into their vibration, you're tuning in their right to have a vibration.